Coming.
Yeah,
Try
yeah,
to drop
guys.
a couple nuggets tonight.
Well, hey, man, the little pre-show,
I love
we,
your pre-show. I need to start adding music to mine. I'm upgrading things little by little. I'm trying out this new camera right now, so
oh,
got
okay,
a
I see
couple
you, man.
couple
It's
other
all up
things
in the
coming.
grill, dog. Yeah,
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 yeah. So maybe I should
okay.
zoom out a little bit, but nah.
Yeah, shoot, I want y'all to see my freckles, man. My little COVID 5 pounds just sitting on me. But, hey, guys,
Right.
look, thank y'all for joining us. Today is
Need to train it
Friday,
ASAP.
August 21st, 2020, and we have joined the market wrap up with JD and Mo. Uh, we're ready to do it, man. You ready?
Yes, I'm ready. I'm always ready.
Okay. Well,
Stay
look,
ready.
guys, I want to thank y'all for coming again. And the topic tonight, I want to discuss a couple of things. And one of the key topics are innovators and disruptors, and how innovators and disruptors respond during chaos and fear. And Mo, what do you think about this, man? My thoughts are that chaos, fear, uncertainty, and panic are catalysts for the innovators and disruptors in our world right now. Like I think Musk, Bezos, and I'll go down this list of individuals. They thrive during times of chaos, and solutions are formed uh, during the panic because there's problems. People, we need to solve problems, and innovation is catalyzed during times like, even though there's fear out there, there's innovation being catalyzed behind the curtains, man. Are you in agreement with on that side?
I'm 100% in agreement with that. Like, I mean, it's hard to even not talk about crypto and DCG within that state. Like, I mean, Bitcoin was created in 2008 within the madness of the financial crisis. So,
And
um, you
that's
know,
funny, man. In the crypto space,
man,
there are
like
so everybody's
there's
that
stuff
you put
going
out
on
that
now. Like, it's crazy.
projects. People are
Hmm.
literally, they come up with that project, get the white paper, get support,
Hmm.
and eh, it's like that big pot, and hopping in, and some people have the small pots of the utility tokens and solving problems, and people are going to get backed. And those tokens that you guys are talking about, some of them are what 500 times X, 500X growth. That
Yeah, yeah,
more
even more than
so more
that.
so than the penny stocks that a lot of people follow. Okay, I'm going to say people, a lot of us initially gravitate to when you first come into to investing, because a lot of times we have a small account,
Hmm.
and when you see something that's trading at $1.14, you're like, man, I got $97. Let me buy 90 shares of this, and if this thing goes up to $3, because it says they have a kidney drug, so and they can't lie about that, and then the price runs up, and then as technical investors, we can see when all the money dries up, when the pullout comes. So uh, anyway, back to the innovators, man. Here's the list, man. I did a this was years ago, like a deep dive, like a 6 degrees of connectivity. So I always feel that you want to be on the side of innovation, or you want to be next to the you want to be with the smartest people in the room.
Right,
and
of course.
and if you're not there, you want to know what their movements are. And so I wrote out Google, Alphabet. Okay, that's connection. So Google, more than a search engine, is much more than a search engine, because we're talking about big data collection, big data, everybody's keystrokes, everybody's move. Deep Mind. Deep Mind is under the Google umbrella. Look up that's artificial intelligence, deep thought. That's a little bit further than just AI. Uh, then Facebook made a push to acquire DeepMind. So you have Zuckerberg trying to get off deep into the artificial intelligence. There's some smart people in Facebook. It's not just a social media platform. So I'll go with that. Then I put down Musk is in every mix. Then I said Peter Thiel co-founded PayPal with Musk, and they were connected to our current president. So there's another thing called Hassabis, Hassabis, connected to Deep Mind. So I was connecting these dots. Another individual named Shane Legg, Legg, connected to Deep Mind. Then Larry Page, a co-founder of Google and now CEO of its parent company Alphabet, he's friends with Musk. But on the outside of that, on the periphery, we go to Litecoin's founder Charlie Lee, a former Google employee. Then Zuckerberg, Facebook has already mentioned his connection to the blockchain, crypto, tech. So even though they're not all in the same company, there's a connection, a connectivity to innovation, pushing the things where Bezos, okay, we have Tesla, SpaceX going to deep space, Bezos, Blue Origin. They've sent so many payloads into space. So I want to err on the side of innovation. So if I have to find a way to hop into a particular company that has exposure to these innovators or disruptors, I have to. Can you give me a breakdown on your take on that? Because I know you go a little further on certain things in this area too.
Um, it's interesting to say, like for um, innovators and being well, also I guess being a subscriber and I guess a fan and a proponent of IBD. I mean they heavily follow tech stocks and growth stocks, so I'm usually um, if not in tune, at least um, somewhat knowledgeable about most companies that come into the market. I wouldn't say knowledgeable, but at least know
No, you're
know
not.
the
You're
ticker,
knowledgeable,
and
man.
I
Brother,
at
you'll
least know
read.
that
It's
they
like,
out
hey,
there. I'll put it that
I
way.
just finished a 4.5 hour Netflix binge, and you're like, I've been reading for the last 16 hours. And like,
Man,
read.
I
Hey,
read and watch Netflix at the same time.
I, I got the ADHD gene too, man. If
So
I
hey, man, it's like that.
multitasking,
It's like that, bro.
but
But
hey,
I so it's like with that, like I see it's weird. Like I see innovation, but I see it in a different way. Like there's innovation in every industry in every sector. So
if
um
not,
even
Mo,
though
they get
we're
left.
right exact I mean and that's the economist part of me. It's the technology, the technological growth that creates economic growth. And you can think of a company earnings and their profits and their overall profits as economic growth. And so it's going to take technological change and increased productivity in order to do that. So like I think every industry has some sort of innovation in this, in finding those companies and kind of researching those companies that are innovative, that are pushing the limit just a little bit more, that will seemingly tend to win in the future.
Okay, check this. JD.com over in China. I'm gonna pull the chart up, and then we'll get off into this. But JD.com during the last, I think there was an epidemic, the SARS epidemic. Let me see how many years back. The SARS epidemic, they were not prepared for that. He said because they weren't online, and they just took it. They took a hit. What year is this right here? 2018. I don't know exactly when that happened, but they said the CEO said he would never be ill prepared again. And so they cut a lot of their businesses and went heavy online. And so shoot, you can't just buy a chart like this on the monthly. But um, I wanted to mention this right here that just okay. Ariel asked us to look at this company called ARK. It was an ETF, ARKK. It falls right
Hmm.
into our innovation discussion.
Hmm.
They
Yep.
have they have a suite of ETFs,
Yep.
uh, and I'm very very excited about that. You know how they operate. But
Hmm.
now she was looking at this. I know we're kind of just going off into something real quick, but wanted to look at this possibly for a leap option. And you know, since it fell right in innovation, I wanted to kind of just touch on this ETF right here, and maybe you could look at IBD. I can look at it, but if we were looking for a leap option, and I looked at them, they were in tune. The monthly chart, it's a little overextended, but it's a beautiful chart. So I'm not worried about that. And if I go out to the weekly, same thing, and it's over over 70 on my RSI, which that's fine because everything can be overbought at times. But I know we're going to get some pullback at some point in time, just because it's a healthy aspect of a trend is when they'll take profits at the top, pull back, and you might consolidate onto a trading range. You could, I mean, this was a trading range for a while here, and eventually Corona hit, but eventually that breakout was going to come, you know. So I think I'm a fan of this company, but I would rather before I do, you know, I wouldn't just do a technical analysis on this one. I'd have to do the hybrid where we do I dig off into IBD and really just see what's pushing them right now. What's their top holdings like? On look at Coifin, but I think
That's exactly what I'm on right
yeah,
now.
find their top holdings, man, because it's key. And I'm sure some of the innovators that we've talked, I'm sure some biotech innovators possibly might be in there. It's going to be tech companies. That this is just going off the top. And but right now, guys, we're gonna get a reversal. I don't know when it could push up a little bit more, but I see a little bit of just a little hesitation in the chart, which is it's a good thing, you know, because there could be room for another entry. Um, you find anything on Coifin?
Yeah, well, a lot. I mean, I got the holdings here.
You want to take it?
Sure. All right. So,
Oh, shout out to my
it's
lovely
the-
wife. She hopped in there and shout out, you know, Luana Ellaby. She put in my big lumber dive, man. She asked me about Potlatch if I had ever heard of that company. I was like, yeah, it popped up on an IBD list. She's like, yeah, they're from my hometown. And bam, and then Colin took the trade this morning and grabbed a little bag out of that, man. So
that's
she's
cool.
yeah. Anyway, man.
I don't know how I just minimized this. I thought I would be making it bigger, but
Yeah, I
anyway,
said shout out
um,
to my wife, y'all. You know I'm joking, but anyway.
gotta shout out the queen. Mine's is relaxing on the couch. I just saw her a minute ago.
Okay.
But yeah, just looking at these holdings, I mean, you're right. The largest holding is Tesla, of course. I mean, it doesn't get much more
Oh,
innovative.
10%.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
highest weighted
25%.
Tesla
That's crazy.
ETF.
And we're gonna go into that a little bit too. That I wanted to talk about that, but as you can see, like some of the companies,
Roku, Invitae,
Square, yeah, CRISPR, we
CRISPR's. Oh
got
my
that one,
goodness. Illumina. Hey,
Illumina, Zillow,
this great call, Ariel.
Black,
That makes my
Teladoc. I know that's Marsha's company right there.
TDOC. Yeah.
Yeah,
Shay C hit a
Sterling.
bag on that.
Uh,
See, I listened to I sent you that podcast, Mo. This, the CEO to ARC Funds was on that podcast of the link
oh,
that I
okay.
sent. Yeah, she's on there. Splunk. We're going big data.
Pinterest,
Oh,
Stratasys,
this is my
Twilio,
new one.
Booyah. Yeah, so this one time, I mean, yeah, this one is full.
Oh, I see
Facebook,
Genius on here. I see.
Zscaler.
I wonder how come no
I
penny
was going
stocks
back
up in
like
there,
where?
dog. I'm wonder how
You a
why no
trip.
penny stocks up in this
You
one.
are a trip. And what I like to do when I look at the holdings, for me, I like to look at everything that got 1% or more, weight in the fund. Because that's usually uh especially for an ETF,
So,
they'll probably hold 100 or so, maybe even more companies. So 1% is usually or more.
but that doggone 10%, they're gonna have to cut. They're gonna probably cut uh, some Tesla at some point, man.
just man. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna get into that. So, but I'm gonna wait.
Okay, okay,
but,
okay.
but yeah, we'll go
Uh,
ahead. You got it.
okay, yeah. Let me and then we'll hit that. Go back over here. So Ariel, um, next thing I want to we'll look at the leap real quick. And this is options chain on Thinkorswim. And when I do my options chain, I always, if it's live during the market and I haven't looked down at the put call ratio, I'm running behind. I should have, prior to making an options trade, you want to have at least identified. This is me. I want to at least have identified potential options plays. But Mo and I are at the point right now where if we do see something physical, we can find something within that options chain that fits our criteria pretty quickly. It's not that hard. The hard part is being right about the stock's direction.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
but the leaps, the March 19th, 2021 leaps, the pricing, I'm going down right as far as the 100 calls because you have over 210 days. You know, the one that matches uh, checks off quite a few boxes is the 100 right now. Uh, it's trading at six. The spread is kind of wide though, guys. But you could you could make a bid on it and see if you get filled at the right price. But let's see the December, and then we'll. And the open interest, I feel on the leaps, man. The ones that are further out, that open interest will pick up uh, if it.
If it
But
moves, yeah.
yeah, um, the 95 or higher.
Let's see, what's the
But
delta on
if you go on
two?
that year out, spending that $1,000 might, it might be a better option. They're not the options aren't just spectacular, but this is a pricier one. The $80 deep in the money call right now has 1,091, but spreads are wide. Just kind of honestly, I'd go with the stock play on this. I really would. Just for me, I'd chip away at this, and during accumulation times, it's in the price range under that 100 where if it fits my criteria on a pullback, or if I want to just do a share builder, that's something that might interest me. But I'm gonna move real quick, Mo. I traded today. I hopped in. I was in Microsoft. I traded that twice. I'm still in it right now. But there's a gold stock, man. It caught my attention, not in a great way. It scrolled across and it said Anglo Gold,
Mhm.
Ashanti. I was like, Anglo Gold. Just how you mentioned you read that book about the names for that branding. Just if it's a
Mhm.
shocking name, if it catches your attention,
Mhm.
well, this
Insider buy.
I, I started doing like a quick dive into it. It's a South African gold mining company. They lost a bunch of CEOs have left it. And so I looked at the chart and I was like, man, that just doesn't seem. I didn't like the name. I just going to be real. I saw a possible bear flag or a possible head and shoulders, left head. I mean, head, left shoulder, right shoulder. Then we had the nested head and shoulders, head, left shoulder, right shoulder. I was looking for a short below 27.27. I got a little emotional, man, and it's set up, and I hopped into an AU trade right earlier today. I think I'm like down $6 on it, but I hopped into the put out of the money put the 26 September 18th $26 put low. I mean, open interest. It missed all my criteria, Mo, but I got into it. So that's just wanted to kind of show that about discipline and emotion coming into a play, and I rationalized it by saying, oh, it's under $100. Let me make this play, man. Cause I was like, man, these are some suckers, man. And the CEOs, I was doing all that. And I had, I moved into it, and it really, it found support. It, I mean, I saw a little bit of a sell off that I wanted, but it was more of an emotional play than I cut corners on my trading plan. I mean, what are your thoughts on that, man? On
it,
how often do you,
it happens to the best of us often. It's interesting, and that's one of the things that I'm um, I guess cognizant about is the psychology aspect, and that's why I'm big on that in my group. I'm big on um, you know posting up your trades before you make the trade. Kind of let's talk about what you're thinking about, what you're going through when you get ready to make the trade, because I mean, that
oh, I was
happens
gonna stick it to the
all.
man, dog.
Man, it happens often. You see something or you think you see something, you just like, all right, I'm gonna just take it. Man, I do it. Like all traders do it. They'd be lying if they said they did. So even the $1 million,
They all say
billion-dollar
it.
hedge fund traders,
Yeah,
like they go into trades all the time. Like in some, they just feel it, and so it's just a part of the thing. But
that's
that's also why it's important to have a consistent um, a consistent way to keep your psychology on point, making sure that you keep up with your trade plan, making sure you have a group of traders that you can continue to
I do.
bounce
Yeah, I
ideas
like
off
that.
of. Making sure you have man, I can't stress enough a plan. Like that's the main thing my group is based on is the DCG plan. So having a plan and being able to refer back to something, getting back to a baseline, getting back to a focus helps you, be able to maintain that, and being able to
Hey,
do it consistently helps.
when you say plan, I was right. I try to write down tick for tick, but I wrote in here. I said, got in. I said, an emotional rule break. Uh, I'm undercapitalized to make this play. I cut a corner, and I was already, it's almost like when I make that trade on Papa Murphy or Papa John's when Papa John's was dropping all those racial slurs and cussing. I was like, I'm a short. That's and they're I mean, I put it like this: their profits were the chart was okay, but I was trying to short it off of getting ahead of price off of potential news. I was saying, oh, the news should be negative, so therefore the price should go down. Therefore, and there's no correlation when the market, because I don't know how soon, if that news is baked in prior to it. I don't know if they're going to take, we can't predict price action. We just go off of probabilities, setups, and then we protect ourselves with stops, or you prepare for the worst, and then just hopefully the trend goes how it's supposed to go. Like Microsoft met my entry criteria twice today, over the last, let's see, yesterday it met mine for a nice gain. I was in it on the 210 September 4th 210 call, and Microsoft trends so cleanly. I mean, it'll run into a trading range where you can accumulate shares for long term. It'll run up, pandemic hits, and then it'll accumulate again, break out, kind of trend, pull back, and kind of gather its thoughts a little bit. And it's gathering its thoughts right now. It's testing a little bit of level on the fail a little bit, and I'm looking for a break. So I got back in. I made a reentry. I'm in the September 18th 210 call, uh, and I have my stop set, and I'm going off of I got a kind of a longer stop further out, man, and just I'm risking a little bit more off of this one long candle right here, man. The low, 208.91, which that's a true swing trade. I'm gonna have to let I'm gonna have to eat a loss and let my profit run. If it pulls back, takes me out, that's my risk right now. But I have some time, I have a little time. I was gonna go out a little further, but and those were my two key trades, other than Visa, which I saw the pullback, and I got out of my lumber play, man. What about yourself? Were you looking at this week
Man, to
to
be
narrow it
honest,
down? Because I know how
I
you get.
mean, without saying too much, right? Like,
Right.
I've been honestly focused on a lot of crypto this month since I've been back from vacation, and also dealing with my son going to school. So my stock trading has been very limited to my basically my month holds, Nike and Micron. So
Oh, oh, oh. So you
Micron's
still
been
holding
kind of
Nike
better.
for a nice. Oh my
Yeah,
goodness, man. That's so pretty,
that's my
man.
month hold, and Micron is also, but Micron
Okay.
is
I hopped out of
basically
Micron,
offsetting, yeah, what Nike's doing. So I don't know, maybe you know,
but the inverted, man, it's a chance. If you do that month hold, that reset, we got a full reset on the RSI on the daily. So support's coming. You got the month,
mhm.
and you got to just
It's like
got to
2 weeks left, so a week and a half. So
deal with the blood or whatever. You know what I mean? And find that exit, or shoot, this thing that bounce within that channel
mhm.
could find that support and rebound.
And
I'm
so
I'm with you, man. But that
Micron, you take it. I mean, last month was phenomenal. So all my long month holds. So
yeah, yeah.
I take a minus point 0.3 this month. It's all good.
That
We'll
we
see.
all have to manage losses. The
Mhm.
people is because and a lot of times it's like when we get out right where,
It's gonna turn around.
and that's the emotional layout of
Mhm.
like there are a lot of traders. One of the reasons that technical analysis works is because a lot of the a lot of people are trained to see the same patterns. And so if you spot a pattern that's setting up, you're like, okay, boom, it's going to make this move here.
Yeah.
My stop is set right at the bottom of here. So
Mhm.
when I exit out, buyers will come in. So if a lot of times you'll see other traders and investors will set their stop a little bit lower
Mhm.
than the if it's a whole number, you go a little bit lower than, like, if it's at $40, you go maybe 39 48, 39.75, or 70, just something that's not like 50, 75, a whole dollar. It just kind of a weird number.
Yep. I
Because
do that.
because just like Mo said, there's times we like, I'm getting out. I can't take it anymore. And that's when it says that when the pain gets too hard, that's when people pop in and buy. Uh, and so I look at it like that. But what I do like, man, I'm staying with Microsoft. Uh, I like how Visa is setting up. I want to show that chart.
Mhm.
That and my chart's getting a little clouded, but I'm gonna pass it over to you, man. But it tested this area, the level, like that 255 cent level. Is really testing that. Had a flat top breakout, finally broke out, and then had the confirmation candle, closed above my 203 level. So. Um, Visa is prime. Even if it trends a little bit, pulls back and tests, it's prime for a push, man. And I took a $94 hit today because I had my stop set, and it came down and touched my stop and took me out. But it, I'm fine with that because I will re-enter this because I'm not going to leave Visa. So that those are what I traded today, man, and I'm very happy Ariel put the ARC, those ETF, that ETF fund in there, man, because that is a catch-all for innovation. All the particular holdings that it had, man. I'm especially with Tesla, and so Mo was going to koyfin.com, KOYFIN.com, to kind of dive into that. So you want to take the screen, man? Yeah. You mentioned you.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. let's do that. Um, there's a couple things I wanted to um, see if I can, provide some other insight that maybe other people might not be talking about. That's kind of my thing. I always try to look at what
See your
maybe
atomic
quote unquote
wallet in
the
Exodus, bro. What's up?
yeah, we're not gonna open those up right
Yeah,
now.
boy.
That's why I said August. Yeah, it's all right. I kind of been focused on crypto. Yeah, it's all good. But dealing with the stock market, I still stay tuned into the stock market, and especially right now going into this time of year. One thing that's about my trading or about my trade planning is that I'm very big on um, cycles, on seasonalities, on things repeating, reversion to the mean. Um, you know, things of like that, like things are gonna happen again. Like human nature is just human nature, and like you talked about uh fear and greed, you kind of touched on it a little bit earlier with your innovation, but fear and greed is what moved the market. So I
Hmm.
try to look at different things about where the market could be going, what different things are what I see in the market. So I was looking earlier, and a couple of things I wanted to point out was first of all sectors, and this kind of go into looking into the makeup. Like one thing I know, I was looking through here, and one thing I like about Koifin is that you can set up, your you can set up a lot of different things and look at returns in a lot of different ways. And for me, it helps me see fund flow. It helps me see where money is going. And so they have, all of these sectors, and they have different industries. They break it up in different ways. And so I like looking at a lot of different things. But one of the things is sectors over the month period, over the 3 month period, month to date, quarter to date, just to kind of see, what's popping, and then I also like to compare it to the S&P 500, because then that kind of gives me an idea of what's over popping. And so, one thing I noticed was that quarter to date, month to date, I believe the past 6 months as well. The same three or four industries you know,
Yeah.
kept coming up as far as outperforming the S&P 500. Tech, consumer, discretionary, industrials. When we kind of get a little bit more than 3 months, then
This mug is a
materials.
magician on Coiffin, dog. Look at
When we get a little bit higher than 3 months, then materials and
yeah.
communications come into consideration. So, when looking at this, I'm looking at, okay, so fund flow is going into these industries. This is also how the market look into it. You know what I mean? This is where fund flow is going. One thing I did was I looked a little bit deeper and looked into the makeup, and because somebody had made a post, it might have been King Steph.
Hmm.
It might have been my man Steph, but somebody made a post earlier in one of the groups that said something to the effect of, if you look at the heat map, and I tried to pull it up, but it don't show it real well. I guess I don't know. They pulled it yesterday or something like that. But the heat map of what everything is doing well is pretty much the FANG stocks, and everything else is pretty much kind of falling to the wayside.
So it's
And
a
so that
thin.
kind of yeah, it's just a thing. So I kind of taking that and taking into consideration what's going on, everything moving up. Talking about stock splits, Apple going haywire today, Tesla going haywire. They talking about Amazon going haywire. Hint, hint, they ain't went haywire yet. So hint,
It's
hint,
all the innovators that
and but
the
another hint, hint, Amazon.
yeah, bro.
You might want to put that on your watch list. But just kind of going through, looking into, what these are. So I'm gonna come back to tech because we kind of know tech, but it was just kind of amazing when looking at the makeup of these ETFs, and they use the spiders, the ETF sector spiders, to do it. And so, consumer discretionary, the XLY, when we look at the holdings, and most importantly, the weight of the holdings, This
Oh,
one, look, I mean, Amazon is 25%, one quarter of the weight of this ETF. So, um, one fourth of how this price reacts, or how, and also how the market views this sector.
those are some
Um,
key companies in there, man.
Man, they are, but like the point that I'm making is like Amazon is a very large portion
It's the
of this.
distributor
Yeah.
of the,
Hmm.
and it's also the an innovator in it with outside of just being the shipping, the warehouse.
Hmm.
Their innovation and the
Um,
wow, man.
I wanted to go to communications. When looking at their holdings, you look at the holdings weight. Facebook, Alphabet, Facebook, and Google pretty much hold almost
The A
35%
and
of,
C shares,
right,
yeah.
for 35, almost 40% of the weight of the communications ETF. Um, let's see. We go back to let's go back to technology. Um, because I
Is
think that
Tesla
was
number one in that? Going to be Amazon,
month
Google,
to date.
Tesla,
Let's go
Apple, Facebook,
do it.
Square,
And then I'll do industrials. Um,
Apple,
Apple,
Microsoft, Visa.
Microsoft,
Hmm.
Visa. That's almost 50% of these ETFs um, in these companies. So what I see, or what I think about this is, okay, these are the sector spiders. Many institutional funds that want exposure to different companies and different assets in different sectors really use these ETFs as part of their holdings.
Gold
And
nugget
so,
right there.
if a lot of the institutions have a lot of these ETFs as their holdings, then a lot of the market is based on the FANG stocks and plus Microsoft. Like, and Tesla is another one in here too. And these are the ones that have been outperforming for some time now. Let me see.
Hey, brother, do you have a class on the,
Uh,
no, on the real mo? It's,
I'm working on something like that.
yeah,
If
dog.
I wanted to show something else to that effect. When looking at um, over 3 months and over the year to date, that was the most important one. What has been outperforming when we looked at factors? When we look at factors, growth stocks, momentum stocks, IPOs, and large cap growth have all been doing well. Now, when we look at these ETFs, I'll go with large cap growth. They use the IVW, S&P 500 Growth iShares ETW. I'm sorry, ETF IVW. When looking at these holdings, it's the same thing. It's FANG stocks, like all
Mm-hmm.
of their top holdings. So, like, I see the outperformance of the FANG stocks and Microsoft being um, kind of a red flag in the sense that the bulk of the market is based on these companies.
The breath is
And it's
thin. It's not.
is
It's
very, very, very thin. And then another thing that, let me see, that was on trends, and then kind of talking about IPOs. This one struck me as well. When you talk about the last 3 months, IPOs being one of the best performing qualitative um, qualitative factors. IPOs have been doing very, very well. And what has been guised under the IPOs is these special acquisition vehicles. And all
yeah.
of these
Blank
uh,
checks.
yeah, basically these blank checks and these companies going. I'll post this in our group as well, this article. But a lot of these companies, the hydrogen companies, the EV companies, a lot of these, are starting to go public through these special acquisition vehicles, and also just other IPOs doing well, and that's great. The IPO sector is pretty great. but um, like when you have companies like these that don't really have much background, don't really have much um, balance sheet history, uh,
Hmm.
a lot of company, and even I think was it Airbnb did the quiet
Under, pull it
IPO
up underneath.
under the one thing I see about IPOs is looking at IPO from an investor perspective, and an investment banking perspective. IPOs are actually an exit strategy. When
Yeah, yeah,
companies are
yeah, yeah.
private, when companies are small and they're looking to go public, that's actually an exit strategy for managers to get a return on their investment. So, um, y- I
That
kind of
lockup
see,
date.
all of these IPOs, the IPO market doing well. I kind of see that as a lot of people exiting in a way, in the back door kind of way. And then, just seeing that a lot of the market is being um, concentrated in the FANG stocks, and the FANG stocks are kind of melting up right now, and we're coming along a cycle in the market where this kind of bullish cycle really kind of comes to a interesting point over the next couple of months. So there's a lot of different things that um, for me just makes me a little bit more cautious with my picks, and looking to see those companies in those areas that are doing well, but doing well under the radar. I know
Uh,
another one was industrials, and
I'm gonna
um,
say it like your boy Tip. What you say, Mo? So you say it's the market's at an inflection point. You say so it's an inflection point, baby. Okay, so tell the people what that means, man. Are we at a pivot point or an inflection point, Mo?
I'm trying
Okay.
to, and not to say that it will, like the market could keep going up all the way, but we got an election coming, with two candidates that um, the market really doesn't know how they're definitely considering market hampering policies, should they come into. So I mean, it's just a lot of things that I think about, while still following the trend, while still getting in these trades, that when you were talking about the arc, like I that's something right now I would keep on my watch. I wouldn't attempt to make an entry right now, especially looking at
I
that
pulled the
monthly stock.
401k stuff.
Um,
I'm and I moved
man,
everything to cash, man.
like and I was looking at this industrials. Like I like this weight breakdown. This is pretty. Um, it's a little bit better, and they have. I did not know UPS did 35% this month. Like that's pretty
Mm.
darn good. Like I'm gonna have to look at them, but um, this for me, like the end of the summer, going into September, October, August, September, October are just historically weak, and so this is the time, where uh, it's a stock pickers market, as they would say. Um,
Okay, shoot.
so just yeah, like I said,
This is
everybody could talk about the stock splits and Tesla going up, and I could pull up Apple and yeah, they did that, but after all of this, they can't go up forever. First of all, and second of all, there's nothing new under the sun. There's a season for everything. Cycles and seasons, for me anyway, they mean something, and we're just coming along on interesting times. So,
a
that's what I
question, Mo.
think.
How long are your study sessions when you are preparing for, like on a weekend? You're like, okay, let me do my deep dive on a Sunday. You know how? Because people, some individuals believe, just like uh, just follow a Facebook post and just live with that. Other than because everybody works, you have 9 to 5, blah blah blah, and family time. It's hard to do the research. How much time are you spending researching?
Man, more than a lot. It's hard to say. and that's something that I'm actually trying to work on as far as my time management with research, because I read all the time. I'm looking into something all the time, and even more so, um, this past year, and building my group, being just wanting to provide value to others, kind of a little bit more than myself, kind of makes me a little bit um, more intuitive and into the market and into different things. So I'm always researching a company. I'm always looking into what baseline I can provide for myself, should I decide to open up this great report and pull out some trades. I got something that I can go to, that I have, but more importantly now for me, that my crew got something that they could go to too. And so I all the time, all the time. I have
Mm-hmm.
certain days, Wednesdays and Sundays, just because the market is interesting on those days. Well, the market's closed on Sundays, but Wednesday is an interesting day. Friday is an interesting day. I try not to trade on those days, so I force myself to research on those days. So it's also part of my psychology as well. So I have little things, but I'm still always researching all the time,
We know
all the
that. We
time, all
know
the time.
that, brother. Yeah, man.
But
That's the Coifin breakdown is a serious breakdown right here, man. That
man.
they need to pay you for that one. I'm talking about Coifin because
Oh, you mean for Koi Fini, man? They
they they
good. I'm
they
just glad that they
they offer this for free.
provide this this great service. And just kind of looking at what's been doing well this month so far. We almost, let's see, we at the 21st, so month almost done. Solar solar power
Solar is
companies,
staying up there.
it just does, like, quarter to date, year to date, looking at 70%. Silver is back up for the month. Transportation, video games, tech, consumer discretionary, like we talked about, industrials, like we talked about, energy and infrastructure, Bitcoin, can't forget Bitcoin,
Never
metals
that.
and mining. Um, we
Oh,
talked about
hey,
that.
I think
Yeah,
somebody put a report out on that.
think
Hey,
I
did you
think
get
somebody did.
the stock scouts?
I think some guy's name
Two
is Scott.
brothers to do it right, and they write up
Yeah,
26,
the
27
metals
pages worth
mining.
of stuff. Anyway,
So, but yeah, so just kind of,
aerospace and defense, Mo,
yeah,
because that sector's getting hit with the airlines and this and that. And I do believe
yeah.
but I mean with Lockheed, Boeing, uh, Raytheon Tech, General Dynamics, all that aerospace side of it, uh, and I believe Amazon and Tesla are also they're miscast, they're misclassified. You got Amazon was an online bookstore, and they still classified Tesla as a car company. They both could fall into a hybrid aerospace company, man. With even though they haven't broken off like SpaceX or Blue Origin,
Mhm,
because they're the leaders in the space race right now,
mhm.
and that area, and Boeing was a leader in the space race, and I do believe they're going to come back because they're propped, but
Mhm.
there's a lot of other opportunities in there. It might, I think it, it can be muddy in there to kind of walk through those areas, but there Huntington Ingalls and all. There's some names in there that
Northrop,
might be doing Northrop Grumman.
L3 Harris,
Yeah,
this one here.
Teledyne. You know,
Mhm.
so when we get to that ash, we go to Psych 16. Somebody's going there.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to get the rare earth metals from outer space. Anyway, we don't need to go that far into it. But wow, man. Well, um, let's
Uh,
want to open it up to the
that's a
audience.
good question. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Please
Let's
stop
see.
share right here. That's a good question. Does Coifin show the past performance of stocks during earnings, like the run up around that time? No, um, not that I can see. That's something that comes, old adage or old saying. You got to have charts for breakfast to kind of see that. That's something. if you look at weekly charts, sometimes monthly, but really weekly charts, maybe 3 day charts. Where and now when I say that, I mean each candle is 1 week, each candle is 3 days. Um, you can and like space it out over some time, some years. You can start to look at how price reacts during certain earnings. Um, and then a little caveat with that, that's also something that I do look at around earnings. Um, Another caveat with that is look at the same period year for year, and that's also just what looking at a company and looking at their earnings. Don't compare this. Don't just compare this quarter to last quarter, but compare third quarter 2020 to third quarter 2019 to third quarter 2018, third quarter 2017, and you do that with the same way with prices, and you can really see, especially with 3 day and weekly charts, you'll be able to see the run up. Daily charts too. You'll be able to see the run up either before or a price drop
Mm.
before earnings, and a run up either after or a drop after. Um, if a stock has that tendency, um, usually it may be seasonal as well. So that's why I say compare the consecutive quarters year by year. Um, and you'll be able to do that.
Hey Mo, Marsha asks, when you use FinViz, what criteria under the screener tab do you use besides average volume?
That's your ballpark. I don't use FinViz screeners. I come
Uh,
across mine.
I can do a quick walkthrough, Marsha. I and I'll do that in a second. I like FinViz. Mo's the financial the genius on Coifin. Um, I use the force and a lot of spirit, man, on FinViz, and just I get it. I use my ancestral spirit. Anyway, look, I'm going to
I
show
like the
something.
news tab on FinViz. That's what I use all the time. I'm always on the news tab.
Yeah, yeah, but I'm okay. Hey, man, lumber. Look at that. Look at
Hmm.
the futures on lumber. How lumber has just taken off since the pandemic. It has run up and it's brought all the other companies there in it, like Home Depot has benefited from that run up. Lowe's has benefited almost the same angle, acute angle. Lumber liquidators. These are all weekly charts. They're all overbought now. Extended. Uh, Potlatch. Thank you, my wife put that on there. That actually is running. And um, I got into a REIT Weyerhaeuser. It hit resistance. So I'm looking at the lumber sector, and that's not something that I'm just saying, hey, hop into. It's just something that caught my attention. I'm really that innovation, the long innovation, Microsoft, Visa, and I'll go quickly to FinViz, and I'll show you, Marsha, how I kind of just um, do a quick. Let me get it up on the screen. There we go. And I'll do something like I'll type in LL for lumber liquidators. It'll pull it up, and for me to just kind of build. My whole thing is I like to build baskets in a similar fashion how Mo has that list, has his list laid out on Coifin, and he just digs into it. Screen's moving a little slow, guys. Just bear with me. Brother has a lot of open tabs. But okay, we have lumber liquidators on the screen, and I'm using the free FinViz. So I go down right here where it gives the name lumber liquidators. It tells me the sector. It's a consumer cyclical. It's a home improvement retail. So I want to go a little bit deeper, and then it'll pull up my screener. Instead of just going directly to the screener, I get a stock that I like. And it's
Right.
actually already kind of thin, but I do it. I go over to here. It says option or shortable. I want to have both optionable and shortable. Sometimes sometimes you might get 15 pages, and this is kind of thinning it out. So I'll go average volume. I want to go over 750,000, but if I really want to thin it out, I go over a million.
Mhm.
Go over 750. Just lowered it down by a few. Um, I can you can dig a little bit deeper. I usually just do that, and I'd use my price. I want to go sometimes over 15, over 20, and I'll go over $20. It just lowered it down to four. So these four make my list. The charts are, and I can also, if I want to do a chart, like to say, you go into the technical side, and if I really want something, I want it. If it's, I want it to be over maybe the over the 200, but everything's been beaten down, so I could just go. Let's go over the 50. Price above the simple moving 50. So we're all that meets my criteria right there, and I can put these all into a basket right now, and actually all the charts look solid. Um, those are the only few things that I do right there. I mean, there are a couple of others that you could add. The fundamental side, if you wanted to go into it, but or I click the all tab and it just kind of go down certain things. The reason I didn't go 200 because things have been beaten down since March, and it's kind of hard to be above the 200 after this corona. So I wanted to go a little bit less, like showing some strength on a 50-day cycle, even a 100-day cycle, 90-day cycle is good for me, or 21 day, 20, so that's how I do it. And I don't really go into the EPS, EBITDA, uh, earnings, none of that right now. I just want to go with the volume. I want to know if it's optionable and shortable. I got my industry, and that's about it. And that's how you can make your baskets off of that, off that trend, or you can go like Mo and I'll pull up investors sometimes, and this as we get ready to wrap, guys. And if you guys want to put a couple of stocks in the chat for us to look before we break.
Pull out the alligator.
Okay,
Oh,
yeah,
let's pull
bet,
up
bet.
that AU that you
Yeah, man, that'll suck. See how it's got to me already, man. I said, okay, I, when I try to look for a thesis or a theme I'll look on the news, and the other day, they kept saying lumber. The last couple of months, lumber, and I was like, okay, let me look at the lumber futures, and then I just typed in lumber, and I just start doing a deep dive into it, and you just look at topics. Okay, why is coronavirus progress? Boom, I know that is going to be my biotech and pharma stocks, so I can dig off into that. That's getting the headlines. Um, go a little bit further. I just started looking down, and IBD, man, the thing about it, you don't have to do too much of a deep dive because they're going to have IBD 50. They're going to have the movers. It's just going to have a lot of different baskets that you can choose from and really kind of, it's already filtered. But if you don't have IBD, you can start doing a deep dive on headlines and things like that. And then you can put it in FinViz and go to the sector. But yeah, man, I want to pass it back over to you so you can just see if we have any.
Yeah, I was about to put a fan. I guess I could show folks how I kind of look at some technical stuff. So I have a few tools that I use on TradingView to kind of look. And I pulled up your Angly Gold Ashanti, and
Mm-hmm.
this is on the monthly chart. This is somewhat how I do my support and resistance. So come on, move out the way. Come on. All right. My fifth speed resistance fan. So I'll go
Putting that Fed
here.
fan on them.
Yep. It's gonna give me a decent idea of what price look like now. All right, so um, as you can see, it hit that line pretty well, and this support is here pretty well on the weekly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's hitting our 20-week support pretty strong.
At 27,
Uh,
27, 2750, 27, what?
yeah, 2750, 2740 area.
Mm-hmm.
It rejected uh, 30, 3550.
I ain't gonna lie,
So I mean, we're looking at
I might just be holding this that put and just off of just straight GP because
another way.
I got a morning star doji just ready to try to reverse up on me, but hey,
Another way. Well, you could probably put a Fibonacci on here from here to here and see, either a retracement or coming back. But just right now, looking at support, like I said, this was on the weekly, and we're getting to, my alligator support area. When I look at it on the daily, though, my alligator is underwater and it's starting to treat it as resistance now. So um,
that's what drew
this
me in.
is, yeah, this just may continue. So as long as we, um, continue to treat this 28.80 area, $29 area as resistance, uh, yeah,
We're
then
gonna
28 to
you see this in the
29.50.
screen, bro. We sticking it to the man, partner.
Uh-huh. Then
Yeah,
you can see, because I mean, it got a couple. We
some
feel
gap
this
downs
gap,
right
but
there.
it definitely could fill it to 26, um, and see some support action here. So definitely
Okay.
you in a short for this one, right?
I'm puts, man.
And
Yeah, bro. I'm not going long in that.
and even on the 3 day, like it's treating the 20 as resistance right now. This is a little 3 pin right here. You can see,
Mm-hmm.
boom, boom, boom. So
Yeah. That's actually the 3 pin got me in, and then the name got my attention. The chart pulled me in. The setup was there. I
volume is
I
hot
cut
on the red candles.
I cut corners on a little, not heavy corners on the option, but But I was like, I'm just gonna trade this, But the chart drew me in. I wasn't just going off of just pure emotion, you know. But I think Tanya asked about check. Yeah.
I already had this one in there. So all right. So Chegg is part of a crew that I alerted my crew to this group. I mean this month in our report. um, Part of a group of online education stocks. So another hint. Um, you might want to check those out with everybody going back to school, and also with the colleges closing,
Man, grand
opening,
opening, grand
closing
closing, dog.
quickly.
I
Um,
didn't even get to step to anyway. It's like, boy, you
like
sat back that
dang,
long.
man. All right. So I do see, it treating my top 2.5 2.25 line as resistance and pulling back a little bit. So this zero line, I mean, on this is a monthly chart, so this is real long term. This zero line may serve as some support right here, which is right around $63. So 77.69 to 63, but that's long term. When we look at where $63 is on the weekly, like I said, it's still at our zero fit fan line. So, this is where I would expect. I mean, see it here, here, and here. I mean, price, uh, if it continues to reject here, should push down and find this zero line again. There are a few indications. This looks like it's setting up a head and shoulders, uh, that this may continue to be bearish. This alligator on the daily is starting to go underwater, and it's starting to be resistance here. And the 3 day is starting to look the same way. We got resistance here. We got some wicks here. That's resistance. So, um, yeah, this one may push down to the $71 area. Um, and ultimately, I'm thinking the 62.50, $63 area, right around where my zero fit fan line is.
Mo, keep okay. Look at your screen with the
Uh,
price action. For
uh,
me, that pullback falls right into the line where the original breakout occurred. You
right
know,
here.
now Well, right there, right.
Uh-huh.
Just
Uh-huh.
like that breakout, that's the true breakout. It
Mm-hmm.
runs up, hits resistance, and a lot of times it comes back to retest the breakout area. Most of the time on the middle time frames, but you see it on the daily, but you see it on the lower time frames faster. Like the 5 minute chart,
I
30 minute chart. Uh, but that on a reversal and the breakout, like we had the bull flag setting up, you had the pole and the pull back to
right
those
there.
dojis right there in the breakout. It's
Mhm.
gonna come unless
That's
something
exactly why.
miraculous happens. It's gonna come back in this area, in that area,
Mm-hmm.
to either retest, let buyers come in, or it's gonna break support. It's
Mm-hmm.
either or. I mean that's my look.
Yep. No, I mean, I feel you. I definitely see this. I mean, it's showing exhaustion. These a lot of top wicks on these candles, meaning the price is going up there, but it's not staying up there. It's not staying towards the highs. This one closed, from the highs down. Like it's
That's a
keep
heavy
pushing up
reversal
off the
pattern.
top. Yeah. So, and this is a 3 day. So, I consider the next three candles are probably is 10 days. So that's 2 weeks. Like, you know, see by the end of the month, yeah, we could
See if it
definitely.
holds support there with your that's your 7.
No, this is well on the this is 20.
20. Okay, okay,
This
I got
yellow one is 20.
you.
So
Okay.
7150 area. That's actually where I see uh
Oh,
this one going. Check and Twilio.
I put my email in the chat bar. If you guys have any questions, Moses can put his in there, and also I put the info on our options workshop that's coming up on August 26th through 28th.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so we enjoy doing that one, man. It's a 3 day
Yes,
session, and it's
one of my favorites.
a lot of details in there. A lot of details.
Trying to get you in some good stuff from the get go. Twilio. I'm not sure exactly what's going on with this is a major gap. Um, what's going on with Twilio besides the fact that it looked like it's busting? Looks like we might be forming a little head and shoulders up here, um, and it's rejecting this support resistance area at 260. So, um, depending on if it holds support here at 250 and bounce up, or if it continues to move down, that's where I pretty much see on a daily here because we stop pretty much at support resistance areas. So um, the issue is we stop on a down day and we close towards the bottom. So bears kind of had control here. That may continue out through the next few candles, the next few sessions. So
Hey
um,
Mo, cybersecurity, brother, is like we know how we discussed it a little bit. Is
mhm,
catching. I'm starting to see a little bit more. I mean, CrowdStrike and things like that. But
mhm,
the more they talk about big data or big data and getting our data, the lady from ARC talked about um, with the consent of users, anonymous data is being taken for the mapping of the virus and the human genome, things like that. You're getting data, but the more that data's the new currency, the more data accumulation that occurs. Every time I look up, if we look up, we see a data breach. We see info breach, data breach, data breach. Oh, well, they didn't get all of your information, or 36 million users' information was exposed. That's uh, I'm happy you mentioned cybersecurity for our next, uh, run on a couple of things, man. And I
yeah,
just think the data protecting, if they keep, data is our new currency.
yep,
Uh, Protecting that currency is key because it's electronic, and so nefarious actors will find ways to hack, jump in, and grab data. The next use case or the next solution problem solvers are the data security companies.
mhm,
So that falls into my list too, man. I'm definitely
definitely on
all
cybersecurity.
goes hand in hand with innovation because
Yep,
so
that's part of innovation. I'm just seeing here sitting. I don't know who asked for Twilio, but this is a 3 day chart. Yeah, this one is showing some reversal signs. We're starting to show some resistance here. So I actually see 240 possibly even 230 coming soon for Twilio. 245. It says 240. Yeah, I can see it testing this support level right here. So yeah, 250 puts, 260 puts, 255 puts. Um,
Get some time, a little bit of time.
yeah, uh, 3 days. I'd look at the September expirations, September 18th
Yeah,
expiration.
that's the one that's hot right
May
now.
not take that long. Well, we'll see. September 18th, maybe, maybe the week
You trying
after
to go? You gonna go?
September. No, it's just because I'm thinking I've been researching, so I'm like, do I want to give away nuggets?
Yeah, yeah,
Maybe the
yeah.
week after September 18th. I'll come
Okay, I got you, dog.
back.
He's brother writing notes. Man, that's a wrap for
BYD.
me on my end, man. I'm
Yeah, man.
Hey, I want to
Uh,
thank Ariel for mentioning art because that was the top innovation was a topic, and that in the during the pre-jam session, she
Arc Innovation.
yeah, I mean is that Boyd Gaming?
Yeah, Selena asked for Boy Gaming. Um, yeah, I see this one retracing to 2550. Like, I mean, and this kind of goes to what I was saying earlier. I don't know who posted it, but somebody was saying like everything is going red except for the Fang stops. But yeah, this one looks like it's retracing to looking like it wants to retest its $25 area. So uh,
Mo,
that's why
bruh,
that maybe 23.
you remember Caesar's CZR at when I was like it was like at $9. I was like, hey man, uh, what about the? I'm thinking about the casinos. Caesars looks good. I got it. I got in that Caesars Leap. It was about $9,
Mhm.
and they changed the ticker on my option on all of our options upon the merger to
That's
where
right.
they did
That's
not
right.
have to pay the people. I'm talking about people were looking at $10,000, $7,000 gains on one $75 option pulling
Mhm.
out 5,000 bucks. And
Mhm.
so they created a CZR1 option and
Mhm.
just immediately switched all of our tickers over. And I, I, I was waiting for my payout today because I couldn't trade it on Robinhood or any platforms, and they're sending out a lot of email, a lot of letters. So I'm thinking that there's going to be some class action suits going out.
I bet. I
It,
bet.
it But I mean, they called it a corporate action, and they the brokers had no idea how to handle it. So that was we were in the right position. A lot of the people in my group and everything, and Caesars was on the move, and then El Dorado they merged and acquired Caesars, but kept the Caesars name for brand recognition. And anyway, you brought up Boyd. I had to bring up Caesars, man.
Yeah. Well, what I could say to all that, the Robin Hood is shameless plug. Tasty Works. I don't have none of them issues. So if you want to refer a link
Yeah,
to Tasty Works, let me know.
I got my account right. I got my. I guess you. I hopped in
Hey,
on your referral.
hey, you did.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah, yeah.
So
Did
yeah,
they take care of you?
I need. Hey,
So
yeah,
I'll
I
fight.
don't think so. Yeah, I need to call them.
With a Marcel, I hit a girl. but well,
Yeah,
yeah, guys. Look, I want
yeah.
to.
Cause y'all
You
keep
got
putting stuff
anything
in
else,
here, and
man?
we'll be. Nah, I mean, man, we could talk all night,
I
bro.
know, I know. I don't want to just let
Like,
people just hang in there. And I want to, my
right,
wife starting her vacation, man. I'm gonna go
right.
hang and
I'm excited. I got my nephew coming over tomorrow. My baby nephew. I posted a picture with.
oh
And my
yeah.
niece. They coming over and hanging with us tomorrow. So I'm excited. I'm having my little man here. So yeah, it's a good weekend for me. Good Friday. I got new equipment. I'm setting it up piece by piece, little by little. I'm having my screen up and stuff soon. So yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one.
Well, man, I'm that's a wrap for us, guys. I want to thank y'all for coming out.
Appreciate
Esther, I'm can you email me, please? Oh, Well, I'm talking out loud. I can just type my email right in the thing, man. He said, you could sure ask a lot of questions, detective. But anyway, boy, I'm gonna wear that one out. But guys,
Yeah,
we'll be
because you
back.
hit me with that one earlier.
Hey, don't
You a
say that in
trip,
front of my wife.
man.
She's gonna laugh like I'm on my yeah, your joke not hitting like it was, but
You a trip.
my jokes
But,
hit, man.
hey,
But guys, thank y'all for coming. And we'll
Ariel,
be back next
Dominic,
Friday.
Mr. Lawana. Thank you,
Yeah,
Miss Ellaby, Marsha, Selena, Tanya, my
Esther,
friend,
Marcia, Selena, Tana,
Tyrone, my homie. Appreciate y'all.
Jim
Thank
James, and Tyrone.
you. Hey,
I'm not calling those brothers. I don't know.
no,
Anyway,
not Paul, nobody.
and Donna Cheatham, Ariel, thank y'all for coming. Uh, yeah, it is Tyrone. What's up, Tyrone?
Uh-huh.
T Reezy. But I'm gonna stop the recording now.